So it looks like my first order of business is to score it around the sides, kind of like how I'm doing. Score it all the way around the sides, and then I'll probably score it in strips, you know, about yay wide, and just put some more score marks in it so I can just peel it up, peel it up, peel it up, peel it up. So I have to cut another strip here, another strip here. All the way over to here is damaged. This floor is damaged like that all the way up to here. Then after that, everything's fine. That's why I'm like, what happened here? And I can see how they overlapped it. This piece is overlapped. Well, this top, everything on this floor slopes downhill. So see, this piece should have been put on first, then this one here should have overlapped it. And I'm thinking that's what's wrong. But it has lots of tape and gooey stuff underneath it all the way along here, you can see, but it had to have failed along there. Could have, the water when it rains could have went down this stucco on the column, and then right in here it could have went right down in there. See, right there, that's where water went. And then this OSB plywood acts as a sponge, just like a sponge. When it gets wet, it just continues and grows and grows and grows. It could have just been right there. And see over here, I look at this column, it looks like it's sealed pretty much, but it could have went underneath that. See right here? Look at that. See that? So as the water came down the stucco here, it went right down on the inside of that. That's a bad thing right there. Look at that. See? And it leaked right along there. Went on this stucco. Rains, water comes down. Here they've got a piece of wood or something here. I don't know why they've got that. This right here, it went right down underneath that. And see, there's the culprit. Boom, boom. It waterlogged, it dry rotted the 2x6 in here, and the 2x6 is going over there. It was hung off of here with and all that dry rotted, and that pushed down, and this next one pushed down. And the water just continued. It could have been sealed everywhere else, but once it gets wet here, then the next time, maybe the first time it rained, it got wet to there. The second time it rained, it moved out a little bit. You have a downpour for a week or so, this just gradually grows and grows and grows and grows. We're talking 17 years that it took to get this. Look at the back side of this plywood. Look at that. Looks like a mushroom. See there? That's growing on the back side of that, because that plywood, just when it OSB plywood, it's just like, it's like sawdust and little shavings of wood all glued together. See all the little pieces? That's how they make OSB plywood. And they use that for roofs and shear walls and all kinds of stuff. They even used it for this floor, didn't they? And hopefully I'll be able to tell once I get it back all the way on how thick it is, because I can't just measure a piece that I pull out, because when it gets wet it expands. I might think it's 3/4 inch, and I might measure it might be 7/8. In fact, it might, when the plywood is actually a short 3/4 of an inch, let's say, or maybe it's 5/8, who knows. We'll see when we get down to it. Well, enough of that. I'll just keep going here, but you see the flashing. Here's the flashing on the outside. See how the flashing is installed on top of this flooring. Well, it should have been underneath the flooring, and this flooring should have been on top of that, I believe. And it looks like I'm gonna have to look at that. Oh, okay. I was gonna say that should have some weep holes, and it does. Look, see that hole? Right there. You move along, and there's a few other ones. See them down in there? that's what makes it so when the water slopes off of this and hits that, then it's supposed to go out of those holes. And I might drill those holes just a little bit bigger too, because you know what? I'll bet you some of those holes got filled up. You saw all the sand and grout and dirt and stuff I swept out along that edge. See, like right in there, all that was along that edge, which tells me that could have held up the water from not being able to get out of those weep holes. Wow. Yeah, I didn't get very good sleep last night because I was thinking about this project. How am I going to take the plywood out from underneath the flashing without disturbing the flashing if I can't get the flashing out? What about this? What about that? And I kept thinking about all these things until finally I thought, hey, let me go back to sleep and I'll figure it out as I go. You know, but one last thing before I start cutting. See that flashing edge along there, see? The paper and the membrane should have been on top of that. So when the water comes down, and this whole thing is sloped, mind you, okay? When it gets down to there, this paper or this membrane should have been on top of that flashing so that the water didn't want to have a sense to go underneath that. But they didn't. They just put it on top, and they probably put some mastic or something down there, and they thought, okay, hey, let's just squash it in there. It'll be good enough. Now see this one here, they didn't necessarily have to put the membrane on top of that. This piece here is still sloping at an angle going down, and the theory would be that it would only go out at the bottom corner, so I may have to drill some holes in that flashing later. And you know, theory has it that point should be level with that point there if everything's going downhill at the right angle. So any water that puddled up there should go flat and then go out through this one. Same with this edge here. This is still going at an angle. So most of this water that hits on there should flow out that way. But there's holes along there, so I'll drill those holes out too. So if any water does happen to get in there, it can flow out of those holes through the flashing, and that flashing goes out on top of the stucco on the outside, see? And I'll have to check all that stuff out, make sure it's all able for the water to go through there. See, I just stepped right there. Did you hear that? See, if this membrane wasn't there, I could have stepped my foot right through it. So once I get going, after I score all this, then I'll start at one end and start working backwards or something. We'll see. Slowly but surely, we'll get this thing done. Alright, just going to show you a little bit more of my scoring. Like that's right about where the seam is. So I know I have to score it at least to there. Okay. Now I gotta think light, like a munchkin or something. Okay. I'll just keep it rolling here. I'm going to try to work over there first and peel it back a little bit. See what happens. That's where it's all failed. So I got to be careful. Gots to be careful.